Alrighty, let's go to our main topic of the day, which is our NBA Power Rankings. We update this list every Friday. We give these teams a week to breathe. Let's see what y'all did in this last week, and we move you around accordingly. So we do have a new number one. We do have two new teams in the top 10, and we do have a lot of kind of rearrangement. This was the power rankings coming into this week. At 10, we had the Blazers, 9 Bucks, 8 Hornets, 7 Rockets, 6 Nuggets, Kings, 5 Nets, 4 Jazz, 3 Lakers, 2 and 76ers, 1. Now, in the middle of the week, we had an impromptu NBA power ranking adjustment, a small adjustment. We had the Clippers at 5, but when the Kings beat the Clippers, we instantly swapped them. We didn't even move anybody. We didn't put the Kings at 10 and move everybody down a spot. We just instantly swapped Clippers and Kings at 5. So Clippers are currently no longer in the top 10, and the Kings are at number 5 because of that reason. Alrighty, so let's go through top down 10 to 1. Tell y'all what they did in the last week. Tell you what we're doing in the movement. Alright, do we have to preface anything? Should we tell you who we're getting kicked out? We'll do it when it goes. Alrighty, well, let's go with the two teams that are being kicked out. Is it two or is it more? Definitely the first team that we had to kick out, unfortunately, was the Hornets. Unfortunate. A little bit of a rough week here. 2-2. They beat the Wizards and the Rockets. Solid wins there. Decent wins. Rockets is a decent win. I think either Victor Oladipo or John Wall didn't play that game. Something like that. Wizards, obviously not a great win. And then the losses were against the Jazz and the Grizzlies. Actually kind of good teams that they lost against. So just unfortunate about the Hornets. They just need a better big. I really think that's their only problem. So we do have to knock off the Hornets. Truly unfortunate because I do kind of like LaMelo Ball and what he's able to kind of do for this team. So unfortunate the Hornets are getting knocked out of the top 10. Another team getting knocked out of the top 10, unfortunately, is the Rockets. We need Christian Wood in the starting lineup now, and until he gets back there, I really don't see this Rockets team winning a lot of games. I mean, folks, they went 0-4 this week. Lost to the Heat, lost to the Spurs, lost to the Hornets, lost to the Pelicans. I mean, come on. They should not be losing, 4 in a row like this, especially with Victor Oladipo and John Wall. Those two alone should be able to make it work, but now we got load management, and one plays and the other doesn't, and then the other plays and the other doesn't. Load management, like I said, is killing this game, folks. Yes, it's a long season. Yes, there's a lot of games to be played, but that doesn't mean that you can take off games early on in the season, kind of like what the Nets are doing. I know it's not, all their fault, like Kevin Durant and the health and safety protocols, but even before that, it'd be like 2 playing. Kyrie Irving takes the night off. James Harden takes the night off. You really can't do that, especially when you have to kind of get into a rhythm. It takes time to build that rhythm, to get the starting lineups right, to get the bench rotations right. It takes the time. So you can't be taking games off, and I truly don't like it, honestly. So Hornets and Rockets are out of the top 10. Unfortunate, truly unfortunate by those two teams. We're big on those teams. We're big on some players on those teams, but we got to make way. And the Clippers are also not going to be mentioned in the top 10. We're not putting them back in the top 10 here. Not a great week by them as well. 1-2 the last week since last Friday. They beat the Timberwolves. Congratulations. They beat the Timberwolves with Karl Anthony Towns' first game back and no D'Lo. Congrats. But then they lost to the Celtics and the Kings, and those are two decent teams here. Once again, kind of the Clippers are kind of like with the load management as well. Paul George is out. Kawhi Leonard's out. They barely play together. Now, some injuries in there as well. I get it. But at the end of the day, you have to be playing, getting that rotation, getting that chemistry with your entire team, your lineup, your starters, your bench. You have to get that all figured out before we get into the playoffs. And so far, Rockets aren't doing that. Nets aren't doing that. Clippers aren't doing that. And Hornets we took out just because they don't have a greater team. They don't have a great team overall. Alrighty here, so now we can go. All right, now we can go on this. All right, here we go. Starting from 10, going all the way down to number 1. Our new number 10 team is going to be, yes sir, the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler is back, folks. And they are better, or they're kind of back at where they left off in the bubble. As long as Jimmy Butler is in the starting lineup, expect them to win. In the last week, they have won 4 games. They've beaten the Wizards, the Knicks twice, and we just saw the Rockets last night. So great performances here. Everybody's really stepping it up. And, still Goran Dragic is not even in the starting lineup. Once he gets there, this team is going to lift off even more. They're deep. People can hit the three. Kelly Olynyk's in the starting lineup, and they're still winning. Usually he's a good bench player. Tyler Hero has been missing a couple of games here. Kendrick Nunn is missing a couple games in the starting lineup. So just with all the chaos, all the rotations, all the adjustments that they have to make, they still find out ways to win when Jimmy Butler is in the starting lineup. He's now in the starting lineup. We can start buying the C team a little bit more. Shout out to Eric Spoelstra. On a nightly basis, he has to come up with a new starting rotation. It seems like every single game. So shout out to him. And the Heat are still playing absolutely fantastic defense for the entire game. That's something that we don't talk enough about here. This Heat defense is absolutely magnificent. They all buy in. They all play defense. They all hit the three. They all give it their all because they know Jimmy Butler does not take no shit, and he definitely doesn't take any plays off, and he doesn't let any of his teammates take any plays off, and all the teammates buy in. So we love this Heat team. They've got the three-point shooters. They got the big in Bam Adebayo. They got the leader in Jimmy Butler. They got the depth in Kendrick Nunn and Duncan Robinson and Andre Iguodala still and Tyler Hero and Goran Dragic. So they're still very deep. Once everybody's healthy, once they're all not injured anymore, they're deep, folks. They are truly very deep. So Heat at number 10. Now, this is a huge week for them because they just started a huge road trip last night, 7-game road trip. Just started with the win. So that's absolutely wonderful for them. But this is going to be a tough week. This is why we put them at 10. This is going to show us what they're actually made of here in this kind of next week when they go on this long road trip. So we're putting the Heat at 10. Very well done. Getting back on track now that Jimmy Butler is in the starting lineup. And we are making note of that. And we praise them. And we endorse them. And they are the green light now. And we put them at number 10. Alrighty, new number 9 team is going to be the Blazers. Once again, kind of winning without all their main pieces. No CJ McCollum for the last 2 weeks. No Nurkic, I think, for the entire season. But in the last week, the Blazers, they went 2-1, 2 wins, 1 loss. They've beaten the Magic and the 76ers last night. They did lose to the Knicks, unfortunately. We are going to kind of overlook that loss a tad because Damian Lillard is being very consistent, being very clutch. Gary Trent Jr. is really stepping it up a lot. Enes Kanter is getting it done as the big. Derrick Jones Jr., as we said, we are big fans of him. He does need to kind of solidify his game a little bit more, but he is having decent success here as a starter now that Nurkic and McCollum are now out. So once again, kind of like when the Heat, kind of like what we said about the Heat, the Blazers, once they get at full strength, they're going to be even deeper than they already are. They're going to be better than they already are. But big things to note, Damian Lillard is just freaking clutch. He will put up 30 every game and not bitch about it and have great completion percentage while doing so and getting others involved. Carmelo Anthony off the bench is absolutely wonderful. 24 points we just saw last night. Fantastic. This man is pretty consistent and pretty clutch for this Blazers team. Whenever they need the three, fourth quarter, first quarter, it doesn't matter. He will get him the bucket, and they still got Enes Kanter as a big without Nurkic. So they just beat the 76ers. Very well done. They were currently the number 1 seed going into this week. So we do have to elevate the Blazers a little bit. Winning without all of your star players, that's a huge green flag. And once you get your team back at full strength, you better watch out. This Blazers team is going to try and repeat like what they did last year in the bubble. When they get to the second round of the playoffs, can pretty competitively. So very well done. Blazers at number 9, moving up a spot here. Alrighty, new number 8 team, and it's going to be the Nuggets. We do have to drop them back a little bit. We dropped them back from 6 to 8 here. Let's get their name written down. Alrighty, in the last week, the Nuggets have went 1-2. Unfortunately, they beat the Cavs, not a great win there, and they lost to the Kings and the Bucks. 2 good teams. Kings are emerging, and the Bucks are obviously the Bucks. So not great there by the Nuggets. I just cannot trust Jamal Murray that much. Jokic is fine. Michael Porter Jr. is fine. Literally everybody else is fine, but Jamal Murray, he's not consistent. He's not even close to the consistency of Donovan Mitchell or Damian Lillard or Jimmy Butler. I know they don't play the same position, or Steph Curry or anything like that. So really the biggest red flag that we have on this Nuggets team is the point guard, which is not a great sign. Jamal Murray, yes, he shows greatness every once in a while. I'm not doubting that. The man can be fantastic. Nobody's doubting that. But the consistency wise, we need to start to see him step it up a little bit more. So they still have an overall great team. I mean, Jokic is almost unstoppable, folks. He's almost unstoppable. That's why they lost against the Bucks, because he was kind of a little bit unstoppable. So Nuggets drop back a little bit. We'll take it. We'll see what happens this week. I don't want to drop them out of the top 10 because of Jokic and Michael Porter Jr., because they still got great pieces, and Jamal Murray, like we said, can still show great spurts. But just the consistency aspect, we do have to drop them down a little bit. 1 of 2 this last week, not the greatest. Maybe they can rebound this week and we can move them up again a little bit. But Nuggets at number 8, they're still deep. They are still deep. They're still good. They're still a good team, folks. But we do have to drop them down a little bit because of Murray's kind of lackluster performance a little bit. Alrighty, number 7 is a new number 7 team, and we do have to move this team down a little bit. The Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, are new number 7 team. In the last week, they beat the Pacers. Not a great win. It's a decent win, not a great win. And they lost against the Pistons, the Raptors, and the 76ers. You cannot be losing against all those teams. I will say that. The whole lineup without Kevin Durant, I get that for the last week, but they still are losing. There's no reason why they should be losing without Kevin Durant. I mean, you still have Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Joe Harris, who is not as obviously as good as Kevin Durant, but can still kind of score his output. He can put up to 22 points. He can put up to 25 points if needed to on a game-to-game basis, Joe Harris. So there's no reason why the Nets should be losing games without one of the big three out, folks. 2 of the big 3 should still be able to get it done, and they're not because of the leadership. And we just saw the complete meltdown by Steve Nash saying, hey, I'm just letting the team do whatever. The team determines the team, which is the lamest thing ever. Kyrie Irving says, I'm a warrior, but kind of once we win, we'll be good, but we got to win first. And that is true. And that speaks to a lot of things, and like sports and soccer and hockey, once you get the first goal, you're good to go for the game. It's just kind of breaking the ice. Same thing with basketball. I mean, getting a win with this rotation, just that one win. We can do it now. This is how we do it. All right, now they can start piling on, opening up the floodgates. So Nets at number 7, not going to take them out of the top 10 just quite yet. Because, I mean, they're still fantastic. They still got all the pieces, but we need to start seeing them win games consistently. I need to start to see them kind of go like 4-0, 3-0 in a week, honestly. Kevin Durant should be coming back today. I think that was the plans. They don't play today, so tomorrow, is that their next game? When's their next game? Next game for the Nets. What do we got here? What's Saturday? Saturday, Nets Warriors. Kevin Durant should be good to go. Primetime game on ABC. Kevin Durant should be good to go for that game. So Nets next Friday, when we update our power rankings, we could potentially move them up again. But we got to start seeing the big 3 play together and win together. So Nets drop back a little bit here at number 7. Alrighty, new number 6 team. This team moved up, so very well done. And we put the Bucks at number 6. In the last week, they have beaten the Cavs twice and the Nuggets and lost to the Suns closely, just Giannis not being clutch. So we moved the Bucks up a little bit. The 3-point shooting has been a little bit more consistent this week, which is good. They've gotten 3 wins, very good. They beaten the Nuggets. That was a huge, great win by them. Able to kind of beat Jokic and kind of, not really lock him up, but, not let him go monster beast mode on you. So very well done to the Bucks. Giannis is still solid. Chris Middleton's still very solid. Dante DiVincenzo's all right. Brook Lopez is obviously good. Just like we said, the 3-point shooting has been good this week. The down low play has been good this week. So we moved them up a little bit because of that. Bucks at number 6. I don't know what it would take for them to kind of crack the top 5, honestly. I would need a straight up great week, not losing at all. 3s consistently throughout, and beating some of the elite teams. So until they start kind of beating the elite teams consistently, I mean, you beat the Nuggets, which is good, but then you lost to the Suns close. Giannis not being that clutch factor, draining that mid-range jumper against the Suns. So they still have their flaws. Those are sometimes the 3-point shot just isn't there, and when that happens, they don't win. Giannis, if he gets locked up down low, that's not going to happen. Giannis's jump shots is absolutely atrocious. And And he has kind of fixed the free throws these last couple weeks, so we do give him credit there. But that is still something that can creep up that we do have to keep an eye on. So Bucks at number 6, moving up a little bit, taking them slow here, taking them slow. Alrighty, number 5 is a new team, and is this the last new team? The Heat were the first new team, and the second new team, the last new team in the top 10 is going to be the Suns. What an incredible week the Suns have had. What do I got here? Where are they at? Where are my notes on the Suns? Right here, they beat the Pistons, the Cavs, the Bucks, and the Celtics all this week. No losses, 4 wins. Very well done. They jump all the way from out of the top 10 to number 5. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, they are getting it done, folks. Absolutely. Frank Kaminsky in the starting lineup, folks. He's only been in the starting lineup for 4 games. I think it's when he started their 4-game win streak. So this man in the starting lineup is absolutely getting it done. McCall Bridges, once again, getting it done as well. Their bench isn't the greatest. I don't know if they can move up any higher than 5, honestly. They do need that kind of great bench score. I guess they have Cameron Payne, or Cameron Johnson, one of those two. A Cameron, nonetheless. And he hasn't really been stepping it up on the bench, but that's probably their one weakness is the bench. But Devin Booker and Chris Paul are just consistently putting up like 20-plus points, 25-plus points a game, really getting it done. And DeAndre Ayton is a force to be reckoned with down low. And like I said, the addition of Frank Kaminsky in the starting lineup is making a huge, huge difference, folks. He's only started 4 games. They got 4 wins this week. Coincidence? No, sir. No, sir. So Suns at number 5 making a huge, huge leap. Got to pay them some respect here. They were in the top 10, I believe, last week. I think we moved them out. But a great week this week to rebound. They're back in it. Alrighty, new number 4 team. We moved this team up a little bit. One spot, the Kings. Oh, my goodness. I mean, just kind of a great week as well by the Kings. What do I got here? Where are they at? All right, there are 2 wins and 1 loss. They beat the Nuggets and the Clippers, really great wins, and they lost against the 76ers, but they were competitive. I think they only lost by like 7 points. So competitive and beating the best teams in the league, that's all I ask for, folks. I need you to be competitive, and once you're competitive, now I need you to start winning the games. And the Kings, they skipped the competitive phase and just started winning games like that. So absolutely fantastic by the Kings. They've got some real great young players. Obviously, we know De'Aaron Fox is really carrying the load. What else do we get here? Raquan Holmes is doing all right. Marvin Bagley is doing all right, but Buddy Hield is really kind of impressing me super, super much. He's kind of taking that next step that, I praise Trae Young for taking. Buddy Hield is really taking that next step and is fitting into kind of this second guard role for this Kings team, and I'm all about it. They're playing very, very well here. I think they're 12-12 currently. Where are they in the standings? Where are the Kings at? Right here. Kings are they're currently number 12 or number 10. Gosh darn. But they got some fantastic plays. They're beating the better teams. They're catching their stride, and they're going to make a push for the playoffs here. They are currently, 1 game back? I just like the way that they're playing with a great week here. We put them into the top 10 because they beat the Clippers, and, they're just playing well, folks. They're just playing well, and you would not expect this team to play well, and we're praising this team and giving them a little bit of a shout out here at number 4. Alrighty, new number 3 team is going to be, what do we get here? Number 3 is going to be, all right, this is where, all right, we're jumbling up the top 3 a little bit. The new number 3 team is unfortunately the Philadelphia 76ers, so they officially lose their number 1 seed. In the last week, they've beaten the Nets and the Kings. Very good wins there. Losing to the Blazers, I'm not putting too much weight into it, too much stock, but it is kind of a little disappointing that, everybody steps up besides Danny Green, and we know that, but, they are a little bit of a liability with Danny Green in the starting lineup. It is unfortunate. It is really starting to come out that Danny Green's not pulling his weight. Literally everybody else is great. Tobias Harris is great. Joel Embiid is the MVP. Ben Simmons is fantastic. Seth Curry is the 4th. Seth Curry he's having great success. Now definitely can he step it up. The 2 worst players on their starting lineup are Danny Green by far, and then the second worst player is Seth Curry, but he's still good. Like, he's still getting you at least 15 a game, which is what you need. So he's still getting it done. Ben Simmons is a great defender. I still love everything about this 76ers team. They are decently deep, too. Dwight Howard coming off the bench, which is pretty good there. I think I'm forgetting another bench piece. 76ers bench. Dwight Howard. What else do we get? Should we look it up really quickly if we can't find it? They just played. We should have just looked them up. What do we got here? Here we go. What else do we get on their bench? Nobody really showed up. Martise Thybulle. Very well done. He's usually getting it done, and same thing with Korkmaz. So they are still decently deep. It's just Danny Green is not stepping it up, and it is really starting to get under my skin a little bit, just because this is a great team. This can be a fantastic team defensively, offensively, everything about it. Like I said, they've got the great scorers, and Danny Green, well, it should be Danny Green, Seth Curry, Tobias Harris. They got the great beef down low, Joel Embiid, who can hit the three and stretch the floor, and then they got just a pure lockdown defender and passer in Ben Simmons. They really have a complete team. Offense, defense, everything. So a little unfortunate here. We're going to knock them down a little bit just because these other two teams have had a little bit of a better week and a little bit more consistency with their bench and their other star players. So unfortunate for the 76ers. They had a nice 2-week run at number 1. We do have to knock them off, though. Alrighty, number 2 is staying the same. Lakers, a great week by them. They played 3 games. Pistons and the Thunder twice this week. No Anthony Davis for one of those Thunder games, and LeBron James is still able to kind of get the win. Kyle Kuzma steps it up. Dennis Schroeder steps it up. Montrezl Harrell really has been impressing me this last week, absolutely. So Lakers at number 2, staying at number 2. Can't put them at quite number 1 quite yet. Got to see Anthony Davis kind of be a little bit more consistent. He's still fine, but need to see him be playing a little bit more consistent, and his play on the floor when he is playing be a little bit more consistent as well. So, Lakers a great week, 3-0, getting it done without Anthony Davis, everybody stepping up. We can keep the Lakers at number 2. And then our new number 1 team is going to be the Utah Jazz, baby. They are back, folks. A great week, 3-0. They beat the Hornets, Pacers, and Celtics, all decent wins there. Donovan Mitchell has been absolutely consistent. Rudy Gobert has been consistent. The 6th man of the year has been consistent. Jordan, Mother-loving Clarkson, folks. Bogdanovich has been fantastic. Royce O'Neal's been a solid 4 for this team as well. Just great defense, solid contributions in the points, rebounds, and assists. So this is a complete team. They're one of probably the deepest teams that there is in the league. Really, really great play here by the Jazz, and really just Donovan Mitchell really just impressing me so much. We love him so much more than Jamal Murray, because we compare the Jazz and the Nuggets. I mean, they're basically the same team, honestly, but the Jazz are just more better at the point guard position than the Nuggets are consistency overall. So we are upgrading the Jazz. Great win against the Celtics, Pacers, and Hornets this week. Great consistency. Rudy Gobert still being great. Donovan Mitchell being great. Jordan Clarkson. Really just a great squad. Really, like I said, the deepest squad that there is in the NBA. And, they're getting back on track. I think they got 5 losses? 20-5, folks. They are number 1 in the West. Absolutely magnificent. 20-5. I cannot believe it. Very well done to this Jazz team. Deep, great starters, great consistency from their starters, and we reward them with the number 1 because we know the 76ers aren't that consistent in their starting lineup, a la Danny Green. Danny Green, you're holding the team back. Can you get it together, please? Alrighty, so this is the new power rankings going into next week. Heat at 10, Blazers at 9, Nuggets at 8, Nets at 7, Bucks at 6, Kings at 5. Nope. Suns at 5, Kings at 4, 76ers at 3, Lakers at 2, and Jazz at 1. Let me quickly go over who is outside looking in very quickly, who can try and make a run in the top 10 coming into this week. Celtics may be able to if they keep up that rotation of Olajay at the 4. That could definitely work. We'll keep an eye on the Celtics moving forward. Pacers, I don't see them really outside looking in. They have not been consistent against the better teams in this league. Raptors potentially may be able to get back into the top 10. Definitely need to start seeing them beat the better teams consistently as well. Clippers, obviously outside looking in, they would probably be number 11, folks. But just this, they have had a tough week, so we are going to leave them out. What else do we get here? Spurs, potentially. I just can't figure them out. I just cannot figure them out, honestly. Warriors could definitely possibly be, maybe. They would have to probably go undefeated this week, and the Heat have to blow it somehow. But I would probably say Clippers are number 11. Clippers 11, Celtics 12. That's kind of what we're looking at here. Clippers 11, Celtics 12, Raptors 13, Hornets 13, Spurs 13, however y'all want to decide. Warriors 13. Yeah. All right.